Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry, and here is another review for Warhammer 40K. This is from McFarlane Toys. The Necron Flayed One. Now, these are 7-inch scale, just like McFarlane's other lines, like their DC Multiverse, their new Spawn line, as well as the 66 Batman stuff that they're doing. But these are particularly for the Warhammer 40K, based off the popular tabletop RPG strategy game, vice versa. There's also many video games on this line. And as we look at the packaging, you can see what is in this current wave. They are showing off with the Flayed One artist proof and the Adept Sorceress Battle Sister, the Order of the Bloody Rose, which this one will be coming soon, also for this Warhammer week. Let's go ahead and get him out of the packaging and take a closer look. Now here we have Necron out of his packaging on his stand. There is a little assembly required. As you can tell, he is missing part of his spine, which is this piece right here. It's really the only accessory he does come with, but it's very simple. Just match the plug. It's angled a particular way, so there's no way of screwing it up. You just take it and you just pop it in. Really tight fit, so you gotta really work on it. There it is. And there you go. Now, I'm not familiar with Warhammer all that much. Again, these are provided by my friend Chris from work. But as you can tell, as per McFarlane, a lot of detail, tons of molded detail on these figures. Really decent paint apps on him as well. He looks like he's mostly cast in a kind of looks like he's cast in mostly a bronze type of plastic, bronze color type of plastic, in some kind of gray, maybe gunmetal gray almost, for the other, hingy bits. As you can see, as all McFarlane figures in this scale, they've been coming with nice little stands to help keep them up. And it is a bit of a pain. It's really actually, which is a good thing to get them on, because it's a really tight peg situation into the foot, and it, they hold them up really well, as you can see. But we'll go ahead and look at some of the articulation for this figure, which you can imagine is going to be a bit different than any standard figure, just in the sculpt and design of this guy. So we'll start with the head. Head is on looks like a barbell joint. Yes, like a double barbell, so you get some decent range of motion. You can look up and down a little bit, left and right obviously, but that's really high up. But that's as far down, so he's mostly just looking forward, so that's about as far down as he will go. And see here, on the arms, they are in a ball socket as well, but you can actually really see it right there. And there's a hinge, the shoulder, but the shoulders, it doesn't really impede them too much with the shoulder armor there. Forward or back, go out pretty far. There's no bicep cut or bicep swivel. But then again, he's a robot, so I don't see how he could. You have a single jointed elbow per the design of the character, so it makes sense. So he's got quite a limited amount of articulation compared to a lot of other figures, but you know, he does have something that a lot of figures don't, which we'll get to. You have your wrist here at a hinge and it's like a ball joint, but he actually has some very little bit of finger articulation for these long digits. See, these two here are connected on one hinge, this one's on the other. Thumb is on no hinge at all, so you can get some cool slashing poses, some menacing looks if you want. And that, the waist, there seems to be a ball joint at the top here, which is really tight. So that's as far as a crunch you'll get, and that's as far back as that will get. But there is a double barbell, or double, ball socket. So you got one here at the bottom, there's two on the bottom, two at the waist, as you can see there. So you can turn all kinds of ways in the midsection. So technically there's no real ab crunch, but that I guess we'll consider as an ab crunch, I would suppose. Now for the legs, you have a slight ratchet, kind of ratchety. You can't hear it or anything. And a hinge here, kick outward. So you go, because there's nothing impeding here, so you can go all the way around with the legs on this guy. There is no thigh cut. Again, robot wouldn't be able to move that anyway. Only single jointed knee. You get almost a full 90. Really close to a full 90 degrees on the knee. And ankles, you do have a hinge and a slight rocker, or at least ankle. And also there is a toe joint. Not a lot of figures have toe joints in this scale, so you know, do with it as you will. Now as for the other things with this figure, this is it. This is all you have. I mean, he's nice. Paintwork's really cool with the stretched out flesh, which is actually very nicely painted. Nice highlights and lowlights on it. Give it that stretchiness feel, like it's actually being pulled and attached to his metal exoskeleton, or endoskeleton, I guess. And I really do appreciate that McFarlane, supplies these stands for their figures. I wish other lines would do the same thing, especially in this scale or even 6-inch scale, because sometimes they don't like to stand all that well on their own. Sure, Hasbro, you can go out and order some of their own you can order some of their own versions of their, kind of like a figure art stand or action stand, which does have pegs for the feet, but these are really thick and blocky. But yeah, at least they're translucent, and you can obviously remove this. But I would like to see something a bit more low profile, something like what McFarlane is doing with all their lines of figures from DC Multiverse, Witcher, Warhammer, and etc. in this 7-inch scale. Now for comparisons, we'll bring out, I don't have a lot of things in the office right now, but in comparison, we got Dino Charge Red from Lightning Collection, who is a 6-inch scale. You can see how much taller Necron stands up against him. And for Ultimate scale, which is the only other 7-inch scale figure I have, here's Jaga, which is one of the few ones I actually have out. And he actually does scale really, really well with Jaga here. I think he looks really good. And of course, I have to put him against another Warhammer figure, which I just reviewed. This is the Joy Toy from the Joy Toy Hunter Pack, Space Wolf Battle Pack. This is pack leader Eric Ice Fang. And you can see how much bigger he is compared to the Joy Toy version of the figure. I'm going to move Dino Charge right out of the way. I mean, he just towers, like completely towers over him. Of course, they're both different scales, so it's understandable. All in all, this is a decent line for a 7-inch scale, highly articulated line of figures from McFarlane. The paintwork is really good. That's pretty much to par for what McFarlane does for the majority of their stuff. But other than that, if you're into Warhammer and you want a bigger scale, I think McFarlane is really the only option you have at the moment. But personally, it's not really something I'm into. But thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And stay tuned for more videos. Until then, peace out.